FIFA has finally blinked. It has now introduced a $60 ticket tier. FIFA has introduced a limited number of $60 supporter entry tier tickets.
FIFA has a new plan to make World Cup.
The FIFA World Cup was never supposed to be a luxury product. It was built on cracked concrete pitches, dusty streets, and packed public squares where millions gathered around a single screen. Every 4 years, it promised something rare in the modern world: equality. For 90 minutes, wealth did not matter. Borders disappeared. Football belonged to everyone. But as the 2026 World Cup approaches, that promise is under serious threat. Before the first whistle, before the first anthem, the tournament has already ignited a global backlash. Not because of corruption scandals or refereeing controversies, but because of price. For the first time in history, the World Cup will be hosted across 3 countries: the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and expanded to a record 48 teams. FIFA called it progress. Fans expected celebration. Instead, they were met with shock. When ticket prices were released, disbelief spread rapidly. Group stage matches priced beyond the reach of ordinary supporters. Final tickets costing thousands of dollars. For millions of fans in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, the World Cup suddenly felt closer on the calendar, but farther from reality. Supporters who saved for years to attend just one match realized they were being pushed aside. Lifelong fans were told, without words, but through numbers, that this World Cup was not designed for them. Social media erupted. Fan groups warned that the tournament risked losing its soul. Stadiums without real supporters, they argued, would turn football's greatest stage into a corporate showcase rather than a celebration of global passion. Under mounting pressure, FIFA made a rare move and lowered some ticket prices. But the damage was already done. Because when the world's most beloved tournament becomes unaffordable to the people who built it, a deeper question emerges. Is the World Cup still for the world, or has it become just another product for sale? When FIFA first released ticket prices for the 2026 World Cup, disbelief turned into fury almost overnight. Supporters around the world struggled to understand how the most inclusive tournament in football history could come with some of the most exclusive pricing. Even the cheapest group stage tickets ranged from roughly $120 to over $265, depending on location and demand. For many fans, especially those traveling across borders, that was just the beginning. Accommodation, flights, food, and transport pushed the total cost to staggering levels. The situation became even more alarming when prices for later stages were revealed. Single tickets for the final were listed at more than $4,000 in some categories. Fans who dreamed of following their national team through the entire tournament calculated that the journey could cost close to $7,000, and that was without luxury spending. Supporter organizations accused FIFA of using dynamic pricing systems that prioritized profit over loyalty. They argued that resale fees and layered pricing structures favored corporations and wealthy tourists, not lifelong fans. The reaction was not limited to online anger. Organized fan groups warned that stadium atmospheres would suffer. Football, they said, loses its soul when real supporters are replaced by spectators who treat matches like entertainment events rather than emotional experiences. The criticism carried weight because atmosphere is not decoration. It is the heartbeat of the World Cup. Chants, colors, flags, and collective emotion are what turned matches into history. As pressure mounted, FIFA faced a rare moment where silence was no longer an option, and change became unavoidable. Facing mounting criticism, FIFA announced a new ticket category designed to calm the storm. A limited number of tickets would now be sold at a flat price of $60, including tickets for every match, even the final. FIFA branded this initiative as the supporter entry tier, presenting it as a gesture toward loyal fans who follow their teams across borders. Distribution would take place through national football associations, ensuring that these tickets reached genuine supporters rather than resellers. At first glance, the announcement sounded like a breakthrough. For a tournament expected to generate at least $10 billion in revenue, the idea of affordable tickets seemed like a moral correction. But the details quickly dampened the optimism. Only a few hundred of these low-priced tickets would be available per match, For the final, roughly 450 seats out of tens of thousands would fall into this category. Fan groups acknowledged the move but described it as symbolic rather than transformational. The criticism focused on the massive gap between ticket categories. While $60 was widely praised as fair and accessible, the next pricing tier jumped sharply, returning fans to prices many still found unaffordable. Supporter organizations argued that fairness cannot exist when affordability applies to only a tiny fraction of attendees. They also raised concerns about accessibility for fans with disabilities, warning that high prices and limited low-cost options could exclude vulnerable groups. FIFA defended the decision, saying the initiative was designed to support traveling fans and that half of each national association's ticket allocation would now fall into lower-priced categories. Yet for many, the core issue remained unresolved. As criticism continued to grow, the controversy moved beyond football and into the political arena. World leaders began to weigh in, acknowledging that the World Cup is more than just a sporting competition. It is a global cultural event that carries emotional value for billions of people. When access to that event appears restricted by wealth, it becomes a political issue as much as a sporting one. The British Prime Minister was among the most prominent voices to respond. He welcomed FIFA's decision to introduce lower-priced tickets, but made it clear that the move did not go far enough. Speaking from personal experience, he recalled saving money to attend England matches as a supporter, not as a VIP. His message was simple but powerful. Football must not lose touch with the fans who built it. His remarks reflected a broader concern shared by supporters worldwide, that affordability is not about generosity, but about protecting the identity of the game itself. FIFA, meanwhile, has defended its approach by pointing to additional measures designed to soften the impact. The organization announced that administrative fees would be waived for ticket refunds processed after the final, a move intended to reduce extra financial burdens on fans. FIFA officials argued that organizing the largest World Cup in history across 3 countries brings unprecedented logistical and operational costs. Stadium upgrades, security, transportation, and global broadcasting infrastructure, they say, require significant revenue. From FIFA's perspective, higher prices are part of sustaining the tournament's scale and ambition. Critics, however, remain unconvinced. Fan organizations and football analysts argue that financial success and inclusivity should not cancel each other out. They warn that turning the World Cup into a premium experience risks eroding its emotional core. Empty chants, quiet stadiums, and disconnected crowds would damage not only the atmosphere, but the legacy of the tournament itself. With the 2026 World Cup now approaching rapidly, the stakes could not be higher. Corporate hospitality may boost profits, but it cannot replace the passion of real supporters. Atmosphere cannot be manufactured, and it cannot be bought. FIFA's partial retreat shows that pressure works. The unresolved question is whether it will go further. Because if the World Cup becomes an event only the privileged can afford, it risks losing the magic that once made it belong to the entire world. If you believe the World Cup should belong to everyone, not just those who can afford it, then this story matters. On African Web, we tell football stories from the perspective of the fans who live the game with passion, sacrifice, and pride. Support this channel, share this video, and make your voice heard. Because football without the people is just business. And together, we can remind the world who this game is really for.